What's going on, you guys? KrypticElement here, coming at you with a brand new Star Wars Battlefront 2 video to the channel. Today we finally got some details on Count Dooku, who releases tomorrow, you guys. That's right, Count Dooku is coming to Battlefront 2 tomorrow, which is just crazy to think about. Just time flies so quickly. But we have details on his abilities and his star cards and voice lines and whatnot, which I'm currently getting from the community transmission that just released this morning. I'm gonna have a link to that post in the description below if you'd like to read into it for yourselves. So I'm not gonna go over everything that this community transmission goes over. There's a bunch of like bug fixes and a bunch of in-depth like notes and whatnot. I'm only going to skim over this and just give you guys the highlights and whatnot. Again, if you want to read into everything, click the link in the description, go see that post if you want to get up to speed with everything. But starting off with the description of Count Dooku, we have a master duelist. Count Dooku excels at close combat with a lightsaber and can deflect lightsabers easier than other lightsaber heroes. While his skills with the lightsaber are to be feared, opponents will also be wise to avoid his lightning stun ability, where he can quickly unleash a blast of lightning. Opponents caught in the blast radius will be thrown to the ground. Calculating and confident, you should approach Count Dooku with caution. Count Dooku will be available to unlock via credits only, costing 35,000. Now, if you guys were curious as to what Count Dooku looks like in-game, currently there has not been any released screenshots or video footage or anything of Count Dooku. Community manager Ben Walk went to apologize at the bottom of the community transmission post. Quote, "I know many of you reading this will be disappointed that there are no screenshots or videos of Dooku. I want to apologize for this. We had plans to release screenshots as well as the community update video, but unfortunately, the production of these was unable to be completed on time. This is not acceptable, and steps are being taken to ensure it doesn't happen again." And then Ben Walk went to Twitter to add some notes to this community transmission. Working on an asset release, screenshot is priority, but community update video also coming. He has 750 health, which is basically confirming what Count Dooku's health will be in game, and that the community transmission frequency will be back to normal in February. And then he mentions you may hear from a certain chosen one at the end of the community update video, which to me, this basically confirms that we're gonna see some sort of tease for Anakin since he's coming next month, which gets me really excited personally. But back to no footage of Count Dooku. Honestly, this is disappointing. I would have expected to see at least an image of Dooku, but I mean, we're gonna be able to play as Count Dooku in less than 24 hours, so I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world. But anyways, guys, let's get back to the community transmission. So let's start off with the abilities. So first up, he has Lightning Stun. Dooku unleashes a very quick lightning stun that throws all nearby opponents to the ground. The damage is reduced for each extra target, up to a maximum of 5 targets. His next ability is called Expose Weakness. This ability targets a single opponent and causes them to become affected by a number of detrimental effects. Anyone targeted by Expose Weakness will have their movement slowed down, will receive increased damage from all attacks, and they will become highlighted for Dooku throughout the duration of the ability. Should the target be defeated by one of Dooku's attacks, while Expose Weakness is active, the cooldown is instantly refreshed. Moving on, we have Duelist. This ability begins by Dooku raising his lightsaber up to his face and then down to his side, readying himself for combat. Once activated, Duelist will improve his lightsaber attack speed and damage for a short time. While active, Dooku will change his attack sequence, now dueling with one hand behind his back. And then lastly, for the abilities, we have Dodge. His dodge is also on a shorter cooldown than others, and with more charges available, making him a formidable foe for anyone that goes up against him in close quarters combat. Now let's move on to Count Dooku's star cards. So first up, we have Sith Control. The effects of this card are health. Count Dooku has increased maximum health regeneration. Next up, we have Rising Power. This affects the health. Whenever Count Dooku defeats an enemy trooper, he regains 20 health. Whenever he defeats an enemy hero, he regains even more. Next up, we have Finesse. This affects his lightsaber. Count Dooku drains less stamina when blocking and attacking with his lightsaber. And then we have Blind Spot. This affects Count Dooku's Lightning Stun. Lightning Stun has a larger area of effect. Next, we have Last Seconds. This affects Count Dooku's Lightning Stun as well. Lightning Stun has a faster recharge rate, but its range is reduced by 1 meter. Next, we have a star card called Superiority, which affects Exposed Weakness. Expose Weakness is active on the enemy target for a longer period of time. And then we have Dominance, which also affects Expose Weakness. Count Dooku's enemy target takes more damage while Expose Weakness is active. Next on the list, we have Masterful Duelist. This affects the Duelist. Count Dooku deals even more damage while Duelist is active. And then lastly, we have Balanced Duelist. Reduces the recharge time of Duelist. Moving on, we have the victory poses. There is I am superior, you should reconsider, unimpressed, and not worth the effort. Next up for the emotes, we have Foolish, which says brave but foolish. Looking forward, which says I've been looking forward to this. Powerful, which says I become more powerful than any Jedi. And then lastly, Control, the Sith control everything. Moving on from the emotes, let's talk about Count Dooku's milestones. So the first milestone is called Too Easy. Basically, you gotta defeat 30 enemies with the Duelist lightsaber strikes. Next up, we have So Weak. Weaken 30 enemies with the Expose Weakness ability. And then lastly, we have Stay Down. Hit 30 enemies with the Lightning Stun ability. Next up, let's talk about Count Dooku's voice lines. First, we have Count Dooku of Sereno at your service. It is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills with the lightsaber. Hope is something we cannot allow our enemy to possess. I did not bring you here to flit around like some Toydarian. I would have thought you would learn your lesson. Tell me what you want and I will show you how the dark side can help you achieve it. Ignorance of the Force will not save you from it. Moving on from Count Dooku, let's talk about skins. So, first, kinda have some bad news. The Dark Ritual skin for Count Dooku will be arriving at a later date. Currently, DICE's plan is to target a potential hotfix for releasing this Dark Ritual skin. The skin is classed as epic and will be available for 40,000 credits or 1,000 crystals. And while we're on the topic of skins, we need to talk about the Coruscant Guard, because this skin for the Clone Troopers has been delayed and has been targeted for a February release. So the reason why the Coruscant Guard Clone Trooper skins are being delayed is because they're being included with the February update to basically go in line with the rest of the Clone Trooper changes. For example, the fixes to the 327th Star Corps, the 91st, etc. So to me, this implies that the Coruscant Guard will be coming alongside of the 501st Legion now. So I'm kind of bummed that these skins are being delayed. But what are you gonna do? I don't know. It is what it is. And then for tomorrow's update, we have news that more game modes will be coming to Geonosis. Heroes vs. Villains as well as Blast will be coming to Geonosis. It looks like these game modes will be set in the first phase of the Galactic Assault map, like the Canyon area, because right here it says where you'll be able to experience the Geonosian Canyons on a smaller scale. So that basically confirms that the game modes will take place in those canyons. But not only do we have those game modes coming to Geonosis, Geonosis will also be coming to Arcade, which is great because I've wanted Geonosis to come to Arcade ever since it came out. So yeah guys, that's basically all of the new content that is coming with tomorrow's patch update. There are a ton of bug fixes and whatnot. If you would like to read into those bug fixes, I'm going to leave a link to the community transmission in the description if you guys would like to read into them for yourselves. Regardless of not having any images or footage of Count Dooku, as well as Count Dooku's Dark Ritual skin, as well as the Coruscant Guard skins being delayed, I'm still so excited for Count Dooku to come to the game. I've wanted him to come to the game for a while. I just think Count Dooku is just such a cool character. Personally, I just think he's one of my favorite Sith Lords. His voice lines sound really cool, his abilities sound sick. And I think having a dark side user with both a lightsaber and force lightning is gonna make for some really unique gameplay. But what do you guys think? Let me hear your thoughts on Count Dooku, his star cards, voice lines, all that. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Let's get a discussion going. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Drop a like down below, hit that subscribe button to join the ever so growing table of vomits. And until next time, I will be signing off. KrypticElement, out of here. Peace out, guys.